All right, welcome to another edition of the Spotter Stand. This week coming to you from Vegas. Got with us BSR Pockets, BSR Brian Boyles, BSR Chevy Chase, and special guest all the way from Australia, Aussie Bill, with us this week. How you guys doing?
What up,
What up,
everybody?
everybody?
How's it going, guys?
Right. I'm assuming most of you guys caught the race this afternoon, except for you, Brian. I know you're on the road currently. Congrats to Kevin Harvick on another win, and he is rocking and rolling this season.
I didn't watch it. I was playing Call of Duty, but I'm here for the spotter stand, so.
Well, we appreciate you taking time being here with us. Let's get right into it. We'll start with Wednesday night. BSR Sponsorship Showcase Series, sponsored by Drunken Cow Jerky. Visit drunkencowjerky.com for the finest craft-made beer and whiskey-soaked beef jerky on the planet. I think I got that whiskey and beer backwards, but you guys know what I mean. I should have let Pockets do that.
You're getting there. You got close. you got close. A couple more times, you'll get it down pat there.
We ran at Vegas on Wednesday night in the trucks, and yours truly, BSR Texan, was able to bring home the win at Vegas on Wednesday. That was some pretty good racing Wednesday night. We had a few cautions early, I think, but it settled down, and we had some green flag runs. We even had a green flag pit stop in there. I know I had a fast truck all night. It was a lot of fun. There was a lot of fast guys in there. If you guys had some trouble, that may be why I was able to bring home the win. But that was a lot of fun. That was a great race.
I think it's worth noting the Rochester Rocket BSR SR5 making an appearance in that series on Wednesday night, come home with a second place, followed by BSR Poor Boy, new member here at Bomb Squad Racing. Welcome to have him joining us in our league. Fourth, BSR Pockets, and rounding out the top five, another longtime sim racing legend, Vince Conway. Nuts on NASCAR, as some may know him, rounding out the top five there. So that was a great race for the Wednesday night DrunkenCowJerky.com truck series.
I've got to look at the points here for you after 3 races. Looks like I'm in the lead. Got a pretty secured lead already. 19 points over Brain Fade, who's in second. Then you Pockets in third place, down by 25. Then we've got Scar sitting in fourth, down by 26. And Hot Rod tied there for fourth, also down by 26. I believe I've only had the one win, but I guess I've had some good finishes in the other 2 races in this series so far.
Yeah, that's series is heating up a little bit there. You can see that everybody's still fighting hard to stay up in that top 5, try to get up in that top 5. I'm in there, 25 out of the lead, but you're still looking at the 5th place. You know what I mean? That's kind of what you're trying to hold yourself in the 5th place so you can be a part of those bonus points after the first segment. So had good racing on Wednesday night. It really was.
Yeah, still 10 races to go before that segment is over, so you know that's going to close up a lot of racing left to do.
And congratulations on you on the win.
Thank you.
I know it's hard for you to be the announcer and pat yourself on the back, so I'll give you a little pat there.
And next we'll move on to Thursday night. Also sponsored by Drunken Cow Jerky. That's our Cup Series. We run the NASCAR schedule, and again we were at Vegas on Thursday night, where last year's NXS 15 champion BSR Chevy Chase brought home the win at Vegas. I've got the render up here, Chevy. I know this is not your Cup car. I didn't have a good render of your Cup car, so I put this one up. This is a good-looking car, and it's real similar. But, you know, congrats on that win on Thursday night. I believe some fuel strategy came into play on that race, did it not?
Yeah, I stopped for fuel when most of the leaders didn't, and I had to make adjustments. I was terrible in that race until the end, and then everybody had to pit for fuel, and that left me in the number 1 spot. So sometimes that happens.
And I'm going to tell you right now, when he says he was terrible in that race, he was terrible in that race. And I have never seen anyone struggle at the first of a race like that. Make the adjustments that he made. Keep pushing forward and ending up winning the race. It was actually a thing of beauty to see. So hats off to you, Chevy, on that deal, because I know how terrible you were, because at the beginning of that race, I was fortunate enough to be behind you, and I seen with my own eyes how terrible you were. I actually was shocked because you just don't usually see that out of the 096 car. The 096 cars usually, he'd been practicing, got his stuff together, ready for the race, and I happened to be behind you, and I thought to myself, from the seat of the 38 Drunken Cow Jerky hot car, I was like, what is up with Chevy? Next thing I know, you're making adjustments, you're slowly crawling up towards the top, and then you end up winning. And I'm like, how did he even do that? So that was a great job. I mean, really, I've never really seen a turnaround in a race just with the adjustments that you can make on the pit stops and stuff that you made. So that was pretty impressive.
I think it's the only time ever, and I thought hard on this, the only time ever where I went in the pits and I made an adjustment every single time I was in the pits. Every time.
And I was watching that when I went back. I was watching that replay, and it wasn't easy for him at the end either. Even though he had finally got the car dialed in, he was having to hold some guys off, and did a good job to keep the top spot there.
Well, I know next time I'm having any trouble, I'm radioing down to the 096 pit box and asking them for the advice, because that was, like I said, that was impressive. I'll be honest with you, I was kind of excited when I seen you doing that terrible, because there's very few times that I feel like that I've got a chance to even beat the 096 car, and I thought that might have been one of them, but once again, I was wrong, so because you ended up winning, so...
Well, I'll tell you, the final adjustment, just so everybody knows out there, the final adjustment that I made was a half a pound of air pressure, and it made all the difference. 1/2 pound. It's unbelievable.
There you go.
Well, let's take a look at the points there for Thursday night after 3 races. Look who's in the lead. BSR Pockets, top spot, with Chevy Chase down by 1 in second place. BSR Momo in third place, down by 4. BSR SS Joba in fourth, down by 9. And Rick Craddock rounding out the top 5, down by 12. The top 3 drivers, all Drunken Cow Jerky. We've got the hot driver, the ghost driver, and the beer bacon driver, all in the top 3 there in that series.
I kind of want to take a screenshot of that, because I don't think it's probably going to last if you see that Chevy's 1 point behind me. So this is probably the end of me being on top of the score, but I'll take it for now. But yeah, after a disappointing finish at Daytona, I mean, I think I finished 8th or 9th. So, and actually, when you go back and look at it, it actually wasn't that bad a finish when you play the consistency game. We've been 38 Drunken Cow Jerky hot car's been fairly consistent. We've been trying to race smart and not really pushing the envelope so much, but just trying to get good finishes every night, and it's paid off so far. But as you can see, there's a lot of heat behind us coming, so we'll roll on to the next track, Phoenix, and I'm not looking forward to that. So
Well, yeah, I can tell you from experience, it's not necessarily about the wins. Those definitely help, and you may need one in the chase, but it's all about consistency. If you can stay consistently in that top 5, that'll keep you up there in the front.
Well, and we felt good about that race too, because the California is in the chase, if I'm correct. Is that right? Thought I heard several people talking about their finishes and how good they did in that, because that is going to be one of the chase races this season. Is that right?
I believe you're right.
Yeah. We came out of California feeling pretty good. So we'll see how it goes after this week. But good job, Chevy. That was a great job. That was impressive.
And then on Friday night, we run the NXS 15 mod. We run the Xfinity Series schedule from NASCAR. Also at Vegas this week. And this week, our winner, HB Hardy, in the number 30 car. Running a special paint scheme here. This is a great looking car and an awesome render from BSR's car. You want to tell us a little bit about this car, Pockets?
Yeah, that I believe it was Thursday night. The NXS series is on Friday night. I believe it was Thursday. No, it was actually early Friday afternoon. HB messaged me and said that a police officer in their local town had lost his life in a high speed pursuit, and it kind of, I mean, it affected their whole little community there. And HB is close to the law enforcement community, and he wanted a way to honor this fallen officer. So he had a scar painted him up a special car, and we observed a moment of silence for respect of our law enforcement officers. And HB took that car and put it in Victory Circle, and what a fitting tribute for that fallen officer and his family and the friends in their community. So congratulations to HB Hardy on the win on that deal.
Yeah, that was another great race. There were a lot of lead changes, a lot of different leaders, a lot of fast cars. There were a good eight or so cars that could have won that race. Yeah, and congrats to HB bringing that home.
Yeah, and he did it. He did it. And I tell you, go back and look at that. He did it from the back because I think he got penalized there late in the race, and he made just an all-star drive towards the front to pull that off. I mean, he drove the wheels off that thing. You could tell that he was motivated and really wanted to do something special, and it was good to see him pull that off. It was actually it was pretty impressive to see him, because I ran alongside him there up towards the top 5, door handle to door handle for a couple of laps, and I watched him pass me and then go on up and take that win. So that was an impressive win. You could tell that the motivation that he had, and he had that in his heart, and that's what got him up there in first place to win that race. So hats off again to him.
Yes, he did get a penalty there, because I was right behind him coming out of the pits, and he would have been the leader. Got a black flag for speeding in the pits, had to go all the way to the back of the field, and absolutely great job. I think he had around 40 laps or so left in the race to make that back up, so just barely enough time, but was able to get it up there and run for the win, take the win.
He passed a lot of good cars, a lot of good racers, a lot of fast cars to get back up there. Like I said, that little bit of extra motivation of paying respect to a law enforcement officer that had lost his life, that'll tell you the kind of heart that young man has, and it was impressive to see. And like I said, that was a very popular victory for everyone that was in that race.
Let's take a look at the points on Friday night. Looks like I am in the lead in that series as well, with Terry Scott in second place, down by 2. Pockets in third, down by 3. HB Hardy with that win has moved up 7 spots to 4th place, down by 7. And Danny Hardy in 5th place, down by 8. Actually tied with Brain there for 5th, down by 8. So points still really tight in that series after 3 races.
So now I know why Terry Scott was asking me if I'd led a lap there Friday night. I see that. I see what his questioning was all about. He went up 2 spots into second place. I guess I remained at third. Look at that jump by HB Hardy up 7 with that win. That right there will tell you that put him solidly in that cutoff of the top 5 for those bonus points. So him and his father Danny both solidly in the top 5 right there along with Brain Fade tied. So that's that'll show you the people are really scratching and clawing trying to get their way up into the top 5, and that's a great jump by HB Hardy.
Oh yeah, and look who you've got peeking right outside there: Nelly, Poor Boy, Axel Foley, Kilojoules right there. You know, those guys are just a few points off of the top 5, so it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be tight to see who's going to be able to be in that top 5 at the end of the segment.
Yeah, you got the 096 right there, 11 points out of the lead. That's that's not a very comfortable cushion at all right there. Those people should be concerned because I can assure you that's going to change. There's going to be a huge fight right in there from nobody's safe right there. 11 points back to Chevy, 12 to Nelly, 13 to BSR Poor Boy. That's all. That's going to be a big shakeup going into Phoenix this week. So be looking for that next week to see how that shakes out.
And Friday night after the BSR race, we run over at the Draft Masters series. Friday is a super speedway series, alternates between Talladega and Daytona. Now there's another Draft Master series Saturday night. This past Friday, we tell us how that all went together, Pockets.
Yeah. The scheduling got a little. We had a little. One of the series, the Saturday night series, started after the Friday night series. The Friday night series was the first one. The scheduling got a little off balanced, so we wanted to bring them back into tune to where they both series end at the same time. So we had to kind of take a week off and do a fun run, and we're going to adjust that a little bit so that the Friday night series and the Saturday night series run concurrently with each other so that they end at the same time, and the next seasons will start at the same time. So that's what the discrepancy is there. That's why you're not seeing any standings or anything like that. We just lined up the cars, did a fun run, and we're going to get those schedules to where they're in harmony with each other for the rest of the year so that it'll be a little easier to maintain and easier to keep up with and stuff like that.
Yeah, I believe there will be one extra off week probably for this Friday night series because there are only 2 races left on the Friday night series, and Saturday does still have 3 races left to go.
Yes. So we'll be putting something up on the Draft Masters page about that to get those schedules. We want them to be perfectly in line, so be watching for the news about that. We'll give everybody some information that they need about that and everything like that. Because, like I said, if those series run concurrently and end and start at the same time, it'll just be a lot easier for everyone involved to keep track of and participate in and everything like that. So we'll be putting out the information about all that and what we've got planned. And thanks to Brian and Kathy Voles at Voles Trucking for all they do for that series, for all they do for sim racing, all they do for Bomb Squad racing. They've just went above and beyond anything I've ever seen in sim racing for these series. And Brian made a couple of announcements this week I want to touch on. And this will give you an indication of how Brian is. Brian said, Pockets, what does in the Drunken Cow Jerky series, which the Drunken Cow Jerky is the official sponsor of Bomb Squad Racing, and our 3 major series on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are Drunken Cow Jerky series, along with our Saturday night Battle of the 5 Flavors and Wolf Bites, which we'll be hearing about here shortly. Brian asked me, what does second and third place get for those series? And I said, nothing. And Rick Craddock has provided the trophy for the Thursday night Drunken Cow Jerky series for several years. So he's been gracious enough and wanted to continue that tradition of providing the trophies. So Brian says, well, I tell you what, second and third place in all 3 of those series, I want to provide them with a plaque from Voiles Trucking. Him and Kathy wanted to give something to second and third place in all 3 of those series. And that's what he's offered to do, and we graciously accepted it, and we really appreciate all the stuff that he's done for us. I mean, it's just things like that. Brian's always looking and thinking of ways to make things better here at Bomb Squad Racing, and we really appreciate him and Kathy and everything they do.
Absolutely, for sure. We can't thank them enough. And you know those guys that receive those plaques, I guarantee you they appreciate having them. They enjoy being able to look up there on the wall or on the desk wherever they've got it and just see it being there and remember, yeah, I did that. That's pretty cool. I guarantee you they all appreciate having them.
Yeah, another thing. Well, I'll tell you what. When we get to the Saturday Night Team Series, I'll tell you what else Brian and Kathy's going to do there too.
Well, before we do that, let's take a quick look and a reminder of what the points look like over at Draft Masters on Friday night. With just 2 races left, BSR Chevy Chase, commanding lead, 28 points over BSR Poor Boy. Pockets, you're there in third, 40 points back. Hot Rod, 47 points back. And Joey Murphy, 85 points back, rounding out the top 5.
And everybody in that series is fighting for the top 3 spots because the top 3 spots will, in each series, advance to a race at the end of the year to where we're going to crown the Grand Draft Master, and that's going to be all of the people who finished at third in each first, second, third in each season, in each series. At the end of the year, we're going to hold a big race, and all of those people will qualify in. So everybody's fighting for that third spot. That's the cutoff right there for this segment of the Super Speedway Series. And I tell you, Roger Bevan's back there, BSR Poor Boy, 28 back. That's a Super Speedway Series. And if trouble's going to happen, that's a good place for it to happen. So with 2 races left, they're really not out of that yet. So Chevy's holding on. He just got to hold on for 2 more races, and then we'll see what happens.
Yes, and it looks like the fight for that third spot is going to be between you and Hot Rod there. Joey's a little ways back, about 40 points, so that's going to be tough to make up in 2 races. 7 points between you and Hot Rod, and 2 races to go. That's going to be a struggle for who's going to get that third spot and be able to run that final race.
Oh yeah, that's 65. He's hungry. He shows up hungry every week, so that's not going to be a easy task to hold on to third place there. And like I said, that's the fight for the transfer position right there. So that's something we're going to want to keep track of here in the coming weeks here on the spotter stand to see how that all shakes out there.
Well, moving on to Saturday night. We run the Saturday Night Team Series, Battle of the 5 Flavors and Wolf Bites. You had something you wanted to share with us about this series, Pockets?
Yeah. Once again, Brian, he's sitting around and asking me questions. Tim Scarborough, BSR Scar at WLS Graphics, and he and I cooked up a little plan to where this is going to be the first time that we've actually offered prizes for this series. And Tim decided that we both decided that WLS Graphics, along with Bomb Squad Racing, is going to provide a nice custom-made event T-shirt for this series. Well, here comes Brian and Kathy. Brian says, "Hey, Pockets, I want to give a plaque to all 3 of those drivers too." And so, Saturday Night Team Series Season 34, the winning team, each team has 3 members. The winning team, the 3 members, is going to get a special edition event T-shirt and a plaque from Voiles Trucking, thanks to Brian and Kathy over there. So that'll just show you the kind of effort that he's putting towards to make this the best place to race, and we really appreciate them for it.
Yeah, and I tell you what, that's a series I'm gonna show up to every single race to try to help my team to do the best we can to be that top finisher this season. It's a lot of fun racing in that series, and get the team up with different guys every season. I think we've got a pretty good team this year. We may be able to bring home that victory. We are going to start off on a good note because the hot team did bring home the victory in the first race of season 34. And as you can see, I've got the points up here as they stand currently hot in the lead. Beer Bacon, Brian Boyles. Brian, you ran a great race Saturday night. That was a lot of fun. You led a lot of laps. Matter of fact, you led the most laps and ended up finishing in second for your team, keeping you just 3 points down from hot in second place. Then Teriyaki in third place, down by 7. Original down by 8 in fourth. Wolf Bites in fifth place, down by 9, and Ghost in sixth, down by 10 points. And the way this series is scored, we have 3 people on the team this series, but only your top finisher for each team is scored. So your top finisher could end up finishing in 7th place, 8th place, 9th place. And if another team's top finisher wins the race, well, then, that's 10, 11, 12 points you could lose to one team in one race. So it kind of, it can stretch the points out a little bit, but they can also be get back up really fast. I've seen this series most seasons go to the very last race, and 6th place may only be 15 or so points out of the lead. So I've seen it go down to where it's really close all the way down to the final race of the series.
Yeah, you don't ever feel comfortable in the Saturday night team series. I've never seen a team dominate and have such a lead that they can feel comfortable about it. And I tell you, we always say what we've always said about this series is that smack talking is not only allowed, it's encouraged. And I tell you, as competitive as that series is, you wouldn't think you would ever be able to ramp up the competitiveness of it. But here comes WLS Graphics. Here comes Voiles Trucking. They've upped the prizes. They've throwed it down, and now it's gonna get ugly in there. That is gonna be something everybody's gonna want to tune in here to the spotter stand and see how that unfolds every week, because I will assure you that's gonna shake it, rattle and roll right there. That's gonna change. That's gonna be a highly competitive series, and you're gonna want to keep track of this right here because this is gonna be interesting.
And after the team series Saturday night, we move over to Draft Masters again, where there's a Speedway series, runs in the Gen 6 BR mod. And we raced at California on Saturday night over there at Draft Masters. And the number 93, Rick Johnson, brings home the win. Now that was kind of I thought I had that race wrapped up, and Rick, he hung back there a little bit and saved his tires. He did that every run. That was a long green flag race. I think we may have only had one caution, maybe 2. There were several long green flag runs, and I'd noticed he was able to hang back and save his tires and come back and pass me there at the last 8 or so laps of the run. And he did the same thing on the very last run. I thought I was far enough ahead, thought I had saved enough tire to be able to hold him off when he got there. But once he got to me and got by, I didn't have anything for him. He saved just enough and did a great job bringing home the win there at California at the Draft Masters.
I tell you what, the cyborg, the young phenom, he brought the pain to California. That's why I was getting so confused about the schedule, is the Draft Masters at California there had me thrown off there. But I tell you what, the middle section, that whole race, but that middle section after the halfway point, man, what some great racing. Steve Looney, Robert Balcom, the Tennessee Titan, Rick Johnson, the 201 of you, Texan. I mean, that was Larry Yeager, the whole group. Larry had some trouble there early on, and but man, that was some fantastic racing at California. I mean, you just could not ask for a better race, and it was super exciting all the way through, and it came down to the last seconds of the race to determine the winner, and the 193 of Ricky J pulled it off.
Yeah, California, that's a big wide track, and there's a lot of room to race there. It's always been a fun track to run. Always produces some great racing, and I can't wait till we get there in the Cup Series.
And I tell you, if you think you think that series ain't for real, wait till you throw those points up here in just a second. Let's take a look at them and let everybody have a look at how competitive that series is on Saturday night.
Yeah, let's take a look at those points and see where they're at. Well, look at there. With just 3 races to go, there's a tie for the lead between Robert Balcom and Steve Looney. And Rick Johnson there, sitting in second, third, down by only 1 point. Moved up what just looks like just 1 spot with that win, but still that's pretty close. 1 spot in 3rd place. BSR Hot Rod sitting there in 4th, down by 7th, tied with me. BSR Texan also down by 7. And then U Pockets down by 29. So it looks like the top 5 there. 7 points down to the last race. That's pretty close.
Yeah, that right there will tell you how competitive, because we're 8 races in, or we're 7 races in, coming up on the 8th race, and look at those points. It's been that way all season long, and that thing right there is gonna get hot before it's over with. There'll be there's some good tracks coming up. I think we're going to where are we next week?
Going to Richmond.
Richmond, a little short track, a little Saturday night short track racing action right there under the lights at Richmond, man. That's going to be exciting. That's going to be I'm kind of excited for that, even though I suck at Richmond, but at least I'll get to see these big dogs, turn them loose and let them eat out there at Richmond. So that's going to be that. Just look at those points. That'll tell you right there what kind of series this is. So
yeah,
that says it all.
This series is full of great tracks, like California, Richmond. It's full of a lot of great tracks that produce a lot of fun, great racing, and the fixed setup keeps guys really close. And there's a lot of good drivers here that really competitive and keeps it a lot of fun, a lot of good, clean, fun racing.
Yeah, even me and Roger Bevins back there were talking before the race. We were racing each other. Roger had some bad luck, had a misstep on his pit stop there. Crew didn't give him any tires, and he eventually had to go back in and get 4 fresh tires and put him behind the 8 ball. And even he and I back there for 6th and 7th. We're racing hard every week for every spot that you can get in that series, just because it's just the competition level there is just absolutely outstanding.
Well, before we get out of here, let's give everybody a quick peek at the bonus scoreboard as of now. As we leave out of Las Vegas, you can see over here to the left, NXS 15 series. HB Hardy with the win there, he's been added. And then in the totals, he's been added there. It looks like I'm still in the lead bonus points in that series with 2, and quite a few other guys in there with 1. And over at the truck series, I had the win there. Got added to the win series, and my point added down there in the totals. And it looks like me and Poor Boy are tied there for the lead in bonus points right now at 3. And Keith McLean and Brainfade both coming in with 1 there on that series. Still a lot of racing to go. These boards are going to fill up. These points are going to change. Over to the Cup. Of course, we had Chevy Chase that took the win in the Cup Series. Gained himself another bonus point and got added to his totals over there. But BSR Momo still in the lead bonus point wise in the Cup Series with 3. Quite a few of us there. It looks like SS Joba, BSR Hot Rod, BSR Chevy Chase, and BSR Texan all with 2. And then quite a few others there with 1 bonus point in the Cup Series. There's already a lot of names on that list, and it's going to grow quite a bit as this season goes on. There's more races in the Cup Series than any other, and it's going to be interesting to see where this goes going into the chase.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I've heard you say quite a few times this session. In this broadcast about you this, you that. I'm hoping that this doesn't turn into the BSR Texan show instead of the Spotter Stand. I hope we don't have to rename it. So we'll keep a close eye on that and see kind of how you do.
Well,
But yeah, those
I
bonus points, man, that's where it's at right there. That's a good list. Just look at the big names on that list right there. That's already started just 3 races into the season.
I personally hope I get to mention myself as much as possible this season. That means I'll be doing well. There's a lot of other drivers on this list that I'm sure I'll be mentioning. Danny Hardy right up there, Rick Craddock, HB Hardy. There's BSR Pockets. Who's some of the other guys that just got one there? Terry Scott, he'll be in there winning some races. DJ Champ, going to be on the pole almost every time. BSR Barry, got Nelly in there. Robert Backham, we'll be talking about him. Rick Johnson, of course, and Bubba J down there at the bottom. He doesn't make a lot of races, but when he does, he's going to be there to win. He's a good racer. He always races good and clean. He's a lot of fun to race with.
Well, you don't worry. I'll be here every week to kind of keep you in check, keep your head from getting too big, kind of keep you grounded throughout the season. So we'll just roll with it and see how it goes here. And but yeah, that's those bonus points, those names, this system, the way we've got it set up's been working out really great. And we roll into the Valley of the Sun next week, Phoenix International Raceway for race number 4 in the series. I think the trucks are off, right? Is that right?
Yes, the trucks are off for a few weeks. We're just going to be racing Cup Series, and I believe the Xfinity does run at Phoenix this week.
Yeah, we're gonna. I tell you, this truck series is gonna be off for several weeks, and we're gonna fill in these truck series with something for us to do. We're taking it to the dirt, baby. Larry Yeager, Steve Furco, a couple of other dirt specialists are putting us something together on Wednesday nights so that we can on our nights off from these serious get down to business scheduled races. We're going to put up some dirt races. We're going to have us a little dirt series on Wednesday night on the off nights on the trucks that the trucks aren't racing. So y'all be looking to the Bomb Squad Racing page and for all the info coming out for that. And like I said, we're going to take it to the dirt. We're going to go back to the roots of racing where it all started and do a little dirt racing. And we're gonna have some road course racing on Tuesday night. So we've got a full slate of programs of racing here at Bomb Squad Racing. So y'all just watch that Bomb Squad Racing page and check it out. And we got people streaming and all kinds of good things here. And we want to give a special shout out to Mark Heyman, Richard Heyman, all the fine folks down in Dallas, Texas. Visit drunkencowjerky.com for the finest craft made whiskey and beer soaked beef jerky on the planet. Y'all go check them out on Facebook. Got any questions? Hit us up. We'll let you know all about it. I was going to say something the other night. I found something very interesting. We were going to have a drawing for some beef jerky prizes. I actually was the beneficiary because my good friend Chris V up in Baltimore says I drew his number. And so I messaged him and told him, "Hey Chris, what 3 flavors do you want?" And he said, "Can I gift my prize to somebody else?" And I said, "Yeah, you can do whatever you want to." And he said, "Well, I want to gift them to you." So special thanks to Chris V for hooking me up with some drunken cow jerky. And the most interesting thing about that is that we had 23 people in there. And I said, who in here has not ever had any drunken cow beef jerky, either purchased it or bought it? And I think we had one person. And those were the bags that BSR Momo was offering. And see how this works? You've got guys that are buying jerky from Drunken Cow Jerky, then they're turning around and they're giving it to the drivers themselves. That was just something that BSR Momo wanted to do, just in appreciation for people coming here to race. But out of the 23 people that were here, only one person had not ever had any of the Drunken Cow jerky, beef jerky, and we automatically picked him to receive some instead of drawing an extra number. We just gave him some. So every person that was in that race, all 23 people, had had Drunken Cow jerky, and I think that's just that's an absolute great thing that 23 different racers in these races have all benefited from racing here and got some nice prizes and stuff, and everything Brian and Kathy Voiles does. We appreciate that. So we're just really proud of what we got going on.
As we should be. That's really great. It's not often where you see where absolutely everybody that's been in there has won some Drunken Cow jerky at one point or another. And that's really great that everybody's able to get a taste of that jerky, because that's some good stuff, man. I tell you.
Yeah, and what's really impressive is like BSR Magoo has done, and Momo and several other people, they've went and purchased jerky from Mark and Richard Heyman at Drunken Cow Jerky, brought their jerky in here, turned around and gave it to people just for coming in here to race, just as appreciation for saying, hey, here's what we got. This is what we do. This is our sponsor. That way they get to support our sponsor. They get to support and show appreciation for their fellow drivers. And it's just really, and that's something that is unscripted. These guys did that on their own. They came up with it it was their own idea out of the goodness of their heart. And that will tell you what kind of group that we have here. That's just something really, really cool.
Speaking of the kind of group we have here and the kind of guys, I'd like to give a special shout out to BSR Axel Foley, driver of the number 47. I don't know how many of you guys that are watching now saw that intro and heard that music. Man, that's awesome music. That was BSR Axel Foley that put that music together. That was all him. He played everything in there, put that all together, produced it all himself. And man, I tell you what, that thing is awesome, and it goes with, you could put anything behind that music and it's going to make it look good. I really appreciate Axel doing that and letting me have that and letting me use that music. I'm going to use it at the beginning of every one of my streams. We're going to use it for the intro from now on for the spotter stand. And speaking of upcoming stuff, let's not forget about what Axel's got going on Monday night. He's going to be running a series there. It's going to be regular time, just like all the other ones, and it's going to be kicking off this Monday night. Chevy, are you still with us? You still there?
I keep him stepped away for a little bit.
I'm not quite sure of the schedule, what track it's going to be Monday, but it's all game tracks with the exception of one track. So, you're only going to, if you have to download anything, it'll be only one track. It's going to be running the NXS 15 mod, same mod that we run on Friday night. So you won't have to download any mod or paint any car or anything like that. Everybody who'd like to come out and run in that, let's show some support to our brother Axel Foley. And thanks again, Axel, for that great music, man. That is awesome. I'm gonna play that clip again on the way out. For any of you guys didn't catch that, you'll be able to see it at the end of this broadcast.
Yeah, speaking of Axel, for all of y'all that know him, I know a lot of you are going to have a hard time believing that he's that talented, but that is actually Axel. I'll tell you how that all came about. Axel is a professional musician. He's playing all of the instruments on that song. He did all of that in his own studio. And it's as simple as I send Axel a message and say, hey, man, make us a cool intro song. Boom, there it is. He did every bit of that. And we are really, really grateful to have such talented people here with us. And I think that's what sets us apart from, a lot of places, is that the people that we have that are willing to give their time, their effort, all free of charge. We ask a favor and they do it, and hats off to Axel for that. So that's a really cool thing.
I believe that's about it for this week. Unless any of you guys have anything you'd like to add, Brian, Chevy, Aussie Bill, you still with us?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, still here.
What's going on down in Australia, Bill?
Well, it's just midday tomorrow, your time. I appreciate the show you put on, especially Texas. There's a lot of effort gone into it, and hopefully I can catch him on the racetrack.
There you go. Brian, you got anything you want to add?
Man, I tell you what, if you want to come and have some of the best racing in this sim on the internet, you need to come and catch you some Bomb Squad racing. You won't find a better field, a better group of guys, and be able to come in here and race for the championships and prizes and have the most fun you can have with the best guys out here. Just come on and get you some Bomb Squad racing. Race for you some of that drunken cow jerky and come get you some.
All right, good deal. What about you, Chevy? You back? No, Chevy's making dinner, Texan. I'll leave it to you to wrap it up. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in.
I was here before. It's just my microphone got muted because I was on YouTube.
I hear you. What do you got? Anything?
Yeah, I'd like to add, come out and support that damn series. It's only 5 races. Axel Foley series. We're going to have a blast. There's going to be a lot of prizes. Everyone's welcome. Come on.
Yeah, that's another thing Tell wanted to point out. This is just another example. Axel puts up series. Axel says, hey, I want to offer, can I offer some prizes? Well, hell yeah, you can, Axel. What you got? Act Lab, Shifter. He's got some special things that I'm not even aware of. And I'm gonna tell you, when Axel says he's got something, he's got something. If you've ever seen his race rig, you know that he's got all kinds of stuff, and we really appreciate him doing that, stepping up and just supporting this league, supporting this team with stuff out of his, just offering up prizes for his fellow racers to come in here and have a good time, just to show the appreciation for them coming in here and racing. So that'll just show you the kind of people we're dealing with here. So y'all come on out and check that. We will have something on the Bomb Squad Racing Facebook page about that. So just be looking for that information, and we'll get that pumped out there to you on Facebook.
All right. Well, we appreciate everybody who tuned in, watched with us live here today, and I appreciate you guys being with us. And Brian, we appreciate everything you do for us. I also like to thank Mark Heyman and Richard Heyman from Drunken Cow Jerky. And we're going to roll us out of here. I'm going to take you back to this intro video and let you get another listen to this awesome, badass music that Axel Foley put together for us.
Yeah, thanks to Bob Tompkins, Steve Furco, Momo, all y'all out there on the chat box. Thanks a lot. We're out of here. Holla.